I'm
Hey,
like, you
B.
did a countdown. I like it.
Yeah, well, it's my temporary stuff. This is my new. If I don't have an out intro, like that's the intro. Um, I'm lucky enough that MC Record lets me use some music that he writes, so I could.
That's what I was wondering where that music came from.
I do love it. It's called The Guilty, and I've been trying to use it like for something because I'm just like I like it, and so I'm like, okay, well, that's my new temporary. Like, if I don't, I'll just use the thumbnail in that, and then here we go. And I like
You
the
know what? I
countdown.
feel like that music would be real good when I'm like, listen, I got to go run errands. Like, it just makes you feel like you're supposed to be going to do something.
It does. That's the thing. It's pushing me forward, like that music, although not in an aggressive way. That's
Yeah,
what I
like
like
that would
about
be
it.
a great like way to wake up or something. Just have it like
Mhm.
start off real soft and then get louder and louder and louder, and you're like,
It,
I
yeah,
gotta get up and be day.
it does. I have it for like a loop for trials and stuff because it's like 3 or so minutes long, and it does progress that way. Like I had to cut like a little bit of it, but you picked up on the same thing I did about the beat of it and what it did, like the way it feels. You know.
Yeah, just like internally, you're like, all right, I got to like it made me want to get up. I'm like, all right, forget sitting on the couch.
And it was something about it. Even though he titled it "The Guilty," I think he titled it after we were talking about it because it was actually a piece that when I listened to it for trials, it actually puts me in that. Let's think about what's going on here. What does this actually mean? Let's project this into the future, kind of thing. Like whatever's happening in the courtroom. Like I'm always trying to be a couple of steps ahead, like what does this actually mean, like that's how my thought process is, and I thought that piece kind of captured it. It kind of put me right in that zone as soon as I heard it. I was like, shit, this is like I'm in the middle of a trial, like waiting to see where the other
But I
shoe
feel
drops.
like if you were listening to that and I served you dinner, you'd be like, I'm
I'd be
nervous
happy.
about this dinner. Yeah, I
No,
think it would.
no, no, I'd be looking forward to dessert. I'd be like, yeah. Like, no, see, like that's just the thing. Even though it's like puts me in that zone, it's not a bad zone. It's a positive, like putting the pieces together, moving forward zone. Like, damn, these is good potatoes. Like those vegetables are fine. I can't wait to see what's for dessert. You know what I mean? Like
I
that.
do know.
Yeah. So it's like if you played that during dinner, that's how I would be. I'd be like, yeah, like this is going good. Let's go. Next step. Next step. I'm ready. It's kind of like a I'm ready for it kind of thing.
Did I play it when people arrive at my house? Just
Oh,
subtly in the background. I'll be like, this will put you in a mood.
yeah, they would be like, where did they come from? Who you been hanging with? Like, what's going
I'm
on
like,
here?
don't worry your pretty little head about it. Like, just let the music take you away.
Oh my God, I just thought of something when you said that. Don't worry your pretty little head about it. That particular statement in my life has been such a matter of controversy. Is that like an insult or a compliment?
Well,
It, right?
yes.
Right? Yes. Yes, with an exclamation point.
I
Uh-huh.
can say this. My friends and I, if you say something dumb or do something dumb, they'll be like, you're pretty, Juju. You're pretty. And I'm like,
Oh,
okay. So in that case, insult. But
no,
I think it's just sort of a neutral phrase. It's just like, meh.
yeah, if it's neutral without being neutral, like you know what I mean? Like it's neutral because you don't really mean it to mean anything, but the words together do, no matter what you try to say about it. Because like I said, don't worry your pretty little head about it. It's kind of like telling somebody this is beyond your scope, or like it could also mean, yo, blondie, like you can't handle it. Or, like
I think your tone indicates where that phrase goes.
but the words together, like, don't you agree? Like, come on, like the words together are kind of like depending. I mean, I can't see where it's not like semi dissing somebody. Seriously. Like
Oh,
when you think,
definitely. Because
oh
you're
yeah,
like,
this is
first of all, you're not important enough for me to explain this to you.
yeah, like don't waste my breath, you know,
Yep.
cutie pie.
It's a great way of saying nothing.
It's like when somebody goes, yeah, toots, sure. Like,
First of all, someone calls me on a regular basis, and I love it.
I know, I know. I don't know why they just hit me that way. It just like struck me as like, uh-huh. I've always wanted to ask somebody about this. Oh, perfect. Juju. Guess
You
what,
just
B?
used it.
Guess what, B? You're it. Yeah. No, seriously. I wonder. So, chat, what do you guys think? Like, do you use that saying? Like, I know I hear it all the time. We hear it. I hear
I'm like, I would say I use it fairly regularly,
it.
but it's also usually when it's like a nonsensical conversation, and
Yup.
someone comes up and they're like, what are you guys talking about? Don't worry your pretty little head about
It
it. But
is
it's
also
also a great way to get out if we were having a real serious conversation and we don't want you to
Mhm.
know what we were talking about. Then you just say that and people are like, oh, okay.
Mhm. It's kind of deflection, right? Like deflecting away. Yeah. But
No, I'm like, there's so much more to this phrase than I ever thought. Like,
when you think about it, we just think about how the words are structured together. First of all, pretty little head. Like if you're talking to a woman, some like I don't get offended, but in some conversations and with some people, they would. Like if we're talking about extremists in feminism and things like that, they would be like, "What? Like what? Why do you have to say it like that? Like what does pretty have to do with it?" You know, I mean, or you wouldn't say that to a man. And I'm like, "Yes, I would."
yeah, absolutely. I will
But
use that phrase against any and everyone. Like,
oh, Mippet's yelling at me. Hold on, I have to click a button. There we go. All right, all right, all
right.
right. I did it. I did it. I've been strong armed into bannering.
She did banner, Missy.
Yes, she called me Mithy too. There's another word. There you go.
Oh
Would you
my,
say
I
that?
don't remember the last time I've been called Missy.
Mm. Now I get a good girl. All of a sudden, I'm like,
That's
do
so
I get a?
dirty.
I know it's so dirty. I was like, do I get a biscuit or a pat on the ass? Like, which is it?
A
Hmm?
little bit of
Hmm?
both.
Little bit, yes. I'm always for the little bit of both. Yes. Hi, Grace. Welcome. I'm tired of typing, so now I'll just say hello as everybody comes into the chat. Because they keep,
Oh, you were typing hello to everybody. Hi,
I
everyone.
did.
That's
I
how I
did.
get around it because I'm like, man, saying hello to each person is a lot.
It is a lot. It is. I mean, thankfully it is. Like let's just
Yeah,
say,
it's
like
awesome, but it's
thankfully
also I'm
there's
like,
so many there's more than one person there. So like it's a lot.
well, and I lost the Y on my computer, so now if I'm in a chat, I'm on my phone and tagging
Oh
people
my
on your
god.
stupid phone. I'm like, it's a lot.
When
Like,
we talk about keyboards, like don't even my keyboard because it's wireless in people just don't like they you see how I type like really crazy sometimes in the chat. I'm actually spelling things, but it doesn't always push the letter that I'm pushing. Like I can't explain it. Like it misses the letter. Like when it's skipping letters. You know what I
yes,
mean? Then a lot with the wireless. The mistypes, like the really bad letters, oh, that's all me because I'm a terrible typist. Like I own that. But it does actually miss a lot of letters. And I guess it's signaling, you know what I mean? Like it can't keep up because I'm going fast or something. I don't know. But
yeah, I used to be a lot better at typing, but when you don't work on a computer for 9 hours a day, you're like, meh.
I don't know what this is about, but this is a true statement, so I'll put it up there. Jinxu says the parade isn't over until all of the horse poop is scraped up. Yeah, I have to agree. But I don't know where that's coming from, but there you go. There you go.
Where is that coming from? Don't tell
I
us.
don't know. I don't see anything in the chat that correlates to it, but I'm cool with it, whatever it is. Like,
Yeah, I'm not gonna
yeah.
worry my pretty little head about it.
See, and it means something totally different when you say it about yourself. They're like, yeah, what? Like, let's just stroke ourselves there a little bit, Juju. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, like, you know, I It's too much. It's too much. Yeah. So what have you been doing? It's been a while. Let's catch up. Huh?
Oh, I
How's
mean,
how's 2025? Let me ask you the boring, typical, expected questions for the first stream in this year. How's your 2025 going? B?
how's my year? How is my year? It
You know,
is
mm,
good. Like, I don't really
it
know.
is. It is fill in the blank. And for me, I'm like, it is what it is. Like, I don't even feel any difference. Like, when we talking about this right before we went live, like a minute before we went live, because we get in here like seriously just a couple of
I
minutes before we
know.
go live. Like we don't plan, we don't discuss, we don't. Yeah, we're just like, oh, right, we made it. Okay.
Well, it's a
Well,
lot better when we don't talk before the stream because then we're
true,
like,
true. But the one thing we did say is like the pressure of like the new year. And I'm like, yeah, it feels like that, but nothing's actually different in December. Like there's nothing new going on in my life. There's no big shakeup, no life changes. I'm not energized into, oh yeah, like I'm not one of those, oh, new year, new thing. Like, let's just change it. Like, yes. I'm like, no, like, okay, it's time, people. It's
no,
time.
because you know what I do? Like, if I start thinking about a New Year's resolution, I'm like, well, just do it right now. Just start right now. If that's what you want to do, then start it on like December 12th or whatever. And then by the time the New Year's comes around, you'll be like, check it out. I've already been doing my resolution for like 3 weeks.
Wait, you actually made a resolution? What is it?
I mean, I didn't really, but I was just like, get it together. That's my
It,
resolution.
no, see, that's a daily affirmation for me. That ain't no New Year's resolution. It's like one of those things I wake up and go, all right, let's get it together today.
Yeah. I'm like,
like,
stop with your nonsense. And
I could never tell myself to stop with my nonsense. Like, come on,
well, your
Juju.
nonsense is better behaved than mine, I guess. Because
No,
mine's like,
my nonsense is living. I'm telling you, people, never stop your nonsense. It is the joy of life. Your nonsense is what gives you the relief for all the bullshit you got to put up with. So,
whoa,
just like,
not for me. My nonsense then just causes stress where you're like,
oh, that's not
focus
it.
and address
Okay,
this stuff. Like,
so your nonsense is more like bad shenanigans. Like, yeah.
yeah, my nonsense is like saying I need to go to the grocery for 3 weeks and never actually going to the grocery.
Oh well, there's another word for that, but well, what you just get distracted. Like there's always something you like because you don't want, really, it's like a chore, right? You would just rather
Exactly.
be doing anything than a chore, and I get that. Oh, this is the answer to our question. I heard something about a parade, auditory hallucination. I cannot rule that out. We could have mentioned a parade. Who knows? We
I
don't
know. I
even
was like, I honestly don't know if one of us
I
said a
don't even
parade.
know if we actually said anything about a parade. I mean, we could have. Who knows? Mrs. Cassandra said that 2025 started with the what the F literally. Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Yeah.
You
I'm
had to
like,
go out and get a laptop? What happened? Oh, to get
oh,
your
yeah,
laptop. Oh,
yeah.
I
I was
thought
like, oh,
you
you had
put
to buy a new laptop?
I'm like, "Oh my
That
god,
sucks.
what happened?" Yes, Mousy, we're well aware that your nonsense is wild. It I will say this. Your nonsense is wild, it's funny, it's occasionally entertaining, and occasionally annoying. Yeah, yeah. But
Exactly. I was
but
like,
it's definitely a lot. Yes, yes. That Mouse is always doing something. Yeah. But-
I
Oh,
know.
you were
I
on the
live
phone.
over in like boring land,
Hmm. Do you
and
really think
I
that?
like it. Mm,
Yeah, I don't think you're boring at all. I enjoy talking to you. You can't
really?
be boring. Well, you can't be boring if I enjoy talking to you. I'm kind of like, because I'm all over the place. It's kind of hard to catch my attention for very long periods of time, and you're able to actually keep me in a conversation for hours. So,
Well, that's yeah. But we like to have conversations about the same topics. and a
Do
lot of
we
people don't. I think
really?
so.
We have topics? I thought we just talked about anything. Like I was seriously, like I never get into a conversation with a topic in mind. Although I often throughout the day or week or month think of things I want to talk to you about, but you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
Like
do too. I'm like, oh, that's great. I should bring that up with Claire. Then when we start talking, don't even think of it.
I know, right? Because it's so like we get distracted and start talking about like something else. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Well, I don't find you boring at all. You think it's boring because you don't think you're doing anything when you're actually doing stuff. It's just the stuff that you do because it's like, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
you're not boring. Yeah. I mean, life's just like that, for a lot of people. That's like that's probably the way more people are than not, actually. I mean, think about it. You got to go, we all have our routines, right? Like, and just because you have a routine doesn't make you boring.
Do you like having a routine?
I need to have a routine.
Me too. I
I
frankly
will
love it.
I will buck against it. I'm one of those. I need it. I need structure. I need to be hammered in to be at my best. And I fight against it like a rebel teenager every breath that I take. You know, but I do need it. I absolutely need it to function at my best. I do.
Same. I mean, I tried to give myself a bedtime for like 3 years. I was like, and I would do good for like a week and I'd be like, I feel amazing. Getting enough sleep is great. And then I would be like,
Mhm.
like a weekend would roll around and I'm like, who cares? Stay up all night. And then I would just be back on my same tilt. Like,
Mhm. We have Jinzu and Mipid in there talking about their eternal clocks, like they don't know what a new year is.
okay,
It's like,
but like what Jen just said, my biggest dilemma of the day is still what the F am I making for dinner? You
yeah,
know what I did yesterday, Jen? Sat
mhm.
down and I planned out what I'm making for dinner for the next month.
Oh my God, are you going to actually keep to it? Because I could never do that. I could never do
Yes.
that. I have to like hey Rec, thanks for joining us. Record says I have wait, I'll pull it up. Wait. I do have the ability to do that. I always forget. It's like I have to have it or everything falls apart for me.
Oh
And
yeah.
he means routine and structure, I'm sure.
Yep.
Um by the way, we played your song and Juju loves it too. She thought the same thing about it that I did when she first heard it. So
Yeah, it was good, Wrecker.
I was like blown away. I was blown away that somebody like latched onto that the same way I did. But about the routine, like some people need it, like Record, he needs it to stay on track. Okay. I
See, and
need it
like,
to have something to push against to make choices on what I'm gonna change. Like, you know what I mean? Like I need it to push against in a way. Like you said, you just planned out the whole month. I could plan out the whole month, buy all the groceries, right? Get everything there so I have everything. I could even do some prep for it. But damn, if I'm not going to twice a week switch it up and say, nope, I'm making Saturday's meal on Tuesday and nobody can do a goddamn thing about it.
yeah, but that's still, you're still following your plan, I would
I'm
say.
still I'm still making my life easier by cooking what's in the
Yeah.
house, right? Or sometimes just like the hell with this. This is too regimented. I am calling Uber Eats. Ta-da! Like, or nope, I'm having a Sunday for dinner. Like the hell with that. The
Well,
hell
and
with
I factor
that.
in some of those days. Some of them are like this or that. Like if I have
Mhm.
leftovers, it'll be like I'm going to eat the leftovers or I'm just going to make, I don't know, whatever. But I like that I don't have to make that decision. Like I already know what I'm eating on Wednesday. I'm like, I don't know what I'm eating. I mean, I don't have to look at my little sheet. But I love that, like, you get home in the evening and you're just like, this is it. And
I
then I like the anticipation sometimes. Like, I'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm having Salisbury steak next Friday. Yay.
I love Salisbury steak,
I do
actually.
too. And I haven't had it forever. And I was like, I'm going to make that.
I love Salisbury steak because it is the perfect thing to make when you have ground meat, right? And there's only so many things you could do with it. So you're not going to make meatballs because that's too labor intensive. And meatloaf, well, you got to get too inventive and creative, right? But Salisbury steak, you can make that because it's just like, right? It's simple, it's plain. You don't have to do anything with the ground beef. You just
Yep.
have to make a decent gravy and of course onions, 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 which I know you love. And
Yes.
and it's delicious. It's simple, homemade food that you don't have to get all fancy with or anything like that,
And it's such a good winter meal. Like, it just makes you feel, like, warm and cozy, you know?
Hmm. Wrecker, Wrecker, you're so guilty of this all the time, right? Yup, I'm gonna cook so I can save dinner. I can save on dinner tonight. Oh, Uber Eats is here. Gotta go. Yup.
See, that's what was happening to me. I was doing too much of that stuff, or I'd be like, "I'll
Yeah,
just swing by and pick something up on my way home," and I'm like,
we have to
You're
explain.
spending money like you've got all this cash. Stop it."
We have to explain Salisbury steak to the Southern Hemisphere because ground beef here in America can be ground steak. Like it can be ground, a better meat. It doesn't have to be, the worst or the worst. It's a way to say you're eating the steak without eating steak.
Yeah.
It's not
What's
like a slab of meat. It's ground. It's mince. It's mince, Wrecker, like you would call it there. It's mince. Yeah. It's ground steak. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
with a
Now, do you
gravy,
make
it's delicious.
do you make yours in a particular shape?
Just sort of like a little, not a rectangle. I mean, not a circle like a burger. I guess like a little oval.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm not overly picky about it, but
Is it mounded like okay? Because here's the thing: some people mound them like mini meatloafs. Okay, some people make them into patties. Okay,
I'm more of a patty person. But
right. Yeah.
yeah,
But
like
an oblong patty instead of a
yes.
round burger-sized patty. Yes, Mousy says it's a burger with gravy. Yeah, kind of, yes, it is. It definitely. It
But it
and
tastes different than a burger, like with
mhm.
that gravy.
With the gravy and the onions, it's a reason to put gravy and onions and I love it with mushroom onion gravy. Like I make it with
Yeah.
mushrooms and onions and
And then, like,
yeah.
you take your mashed potatoes or whatever and get in
Now,
there with it.
some people take those really thin steaks and they pound them and put them with the pounder, the other side of a meat tenderizer has the little squares,
Yeah.
right? And they call that cubed steak. Some people make cubed steak and call that Salisbury steak, which is also legitimate to the definition because it is mm, it's just not ground. We make it a lot with ground beef, but sometimes people make it with a thin piece of beef, pounded within an inch of its life till it has all the indents in it, and then quickly cooked in the gravy also with the onions and all of that. So you could see it both ways. Like sold in the store, you could see those little steaks with the cube marks in them. You could also see beef patties with the cube marks in them. Well, the reason they call it Salisbury steak is you hit it with the mallet so much that it actually like makes it almost like mince, right? It's like
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So you
And
can
it's
see
like
it
an
like both
onion
ways.
gravy you put over it.
Yeah, yes, definitely always an onion gravy. Thank you so much, Turtle Moves, for the starving bear fun. Yes,
I
I am getting hungry just thinking about it. Thank you so much, and thanks for the honors we did too. I always love a good honoring. Yeah. Teresa, our in-house cook here in the library, you brown them and then you put them in the onion and mushroom gravy and let them cook for a while. Then put it over mashed potatoes. Exactly.
yep.
It's cooking it in the gravy, like it gets into the meat and it really flavors it because the meat itself, the trick to Salisbury steak is you really do nothing with the meat before you put it in the pan. Like seriously,
Yeah,
you
well, and
shape
it's
it.
a good way to use, like, not the best meat. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Mm.
Cube steak. That's what I was trying to think of, Mousy.
Cube
Thank you.
cube steak, yes, that's what they call those things. It's like, and cube steak you could use for country fried steak, which is a whole nother thing. Record, don't even get it started on that. If you're gonna like, have you? I don't know if they make that in the southern hemisphere. Meep.
They
Record
don't
could
make
tell
that
us.
where I live.
Well, cube steak, because that's when you actually bother to take those cubed steaks and you flour them in everything like you would fried chicken, but it's steak. Yeah, that yes, don't have a heart attack, Record. I can hear him breathing really hard right now, going like, What?" Mhm.
So
But
yeah,
yeah,
anyway, I planned out my meals for the next month and I
are you
love
having
it.
anything exciting? Is there anything particular you're looking forward to?
No, not really. I mean, I'm kind of this month it was basically like just use what you have already, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So there's no real thrillers in there.
Yep. Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. I'll get more excited as it goes along.
I will tell you, I have started to actually look forward a little more to my meals in arranging them lately. I don't know. Like, I know what I'm gonna have later on today. Like, much later. Yeah.
See, I love that. Well, but and
Uh
I just like the last month I just been eating so bad and I'm like, you know when you feel like crap cuz you haven't been eating good?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't had fast food or
I've
anything.
I
Well, I had did a couple
I've
times,
had a
but like
oh god, I did. I just did the other day, and I'm not even going to apologize for it. It was like the best. I should actually ask everybody to guess if I was going to have fast food, which chain would I go to? But
Steak and Shake.
nope, nope, nope.
Um, Chick-fil-A.
No, close, but I boycott. Chick-fil-A has a lovely mini chicken sandwich, but I boycott them now.
Yeah, I boycott them too.
I boycott them. You know.
Although, I mean, thankfully this hasn't happened, but I did several years ago
Mm-hmm.
swing through Chick-fil-A, which I told my friend I would not.
Mm-hmm.
But I got a frosted limeade
Mm-hmm.
and it was so good. And then
I
I
do, but
wrangled
thankfully,
another friend of mine to go back and get another one with me. And I was like, I got to get off this frosted limeade cake. I felt like
yeah,
I was like doing something so nefarious because one, I was going to Chick-fil-A, which obviously don't go there.
right. They do have great milkshakes and drinks, and great in the chicken sandwich, but it's the company itself. I can't do it. I just can't.
No,
Yeah,
they're terrible company.
yeah. Oh,
Although, you know
record.
what sucks is they're terrible company, but their customer service is outstanding.
Wrecker, I hope that's a zipper across your lips. Don't tell anybody where I went for fast food. I want them to guess. And Teresa has the best explanation of country fried steak there, along with Mousy. Or country fried steak is fried steak, like chicken, like breaded and all, like you would chicken. And it's fried, but not like they do deep fry it in some restaurants, but we would short fry it like in a little bit of oil in a pan here. And I make it with the white peppered milk gravy or sausage gravy, like from biscuits and gravy. But red eye gravy is also really, really good. So, Rickard, think of it with the restaurant where I went with their gravy on the chicken fried steak. That's how I would make it.
So
With
you went to a restaurant with gravy.
Well, yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you. I went to Popeyes. Like, I didn't go to Popeyes. I actually get this. I got Popeyes with my weed order,
That
but
makes
not my
sense.
weed. My edibles, I should say. It's my edibles. Yes. No. No. Delivered. Like, I didn't have to go. Check it out. Right.
They
The
brought
best.
you chicken
They
and
brought
weed.
Popeyes. Yes. I got the gravy. I got the mashed potatoes and the Cajun gravy because I don't care what anybody says. For fast food gravy or diner gravy here in New Jersey, freaking Popeyes Cajun gravy is the bomb. And I know that's really an old saying, but but for me, it's perfect for this because damn, damn, damn. Yeah.
I will say I'm not a big fried chicken fan.
Well, this spice, I hate this spicy chicken sandwich. Oh, I was in heaven. They make their own pickles. Like it's just, and it's good piece of fried chicken. It's on a
Really?
brioche bun. And you know what's the best? Is their damn biscuits. Oh my. Yes,
Are they
their biscuits.
buttermilk biscuits?
They are not as big and fluffy as buttermilk biscuits, but they are large biscuits. They are definitely like a buttermilk biscuit that way because, and they are so good. It wasn't Sonic, Jen, but you're close because I would go to Sonic over like McDonald's or Wendy's or any of them. But Popeyes it was, and I hate to, it's all Wrecker's fault.
He
Yeah,
made you?
he enticed me because Popeyes, he found out there was Popeyes in Auckland where he lives, and this man traveled to try it, and he showed me the gravy and showed me the stuff and took a bite of that sandwich and showed me how good they do the chicken, the white meat breast and everything with the crunchy, and I was just like, god damn it, now I gotta go eat me some Popeyes. I haven't had Popeyes in months, but it's so good. It is very good. Yeah.
Isn't it funny how that stuff like that can happen? Where it
Yes.
like I figured out, remember I told you guys I was having an ice cream issue? Like I could not stop eating the ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
figured it out because this dude that I interact with, he gets Dairy Queen, the chicken strip basket every day, which comes with a little sundae. So I always see him eating this stupid sundae. And then, like, of course, when I see him eating it, I'm like, man, I want a sundae. And then I started buying ice cream and I would eat ice cream every night. And finally, I was like, damn it, Drew, stop eating ice cream around me.
Oh, oh, good. I know. I do. I told you I could eat ice cream every day, and often I did in the past. But it's funny, ever since I said that, I got off the ice cream.
Well,
Isn't that
that's
weird?
what I've gotten off the ice cream too. So that is a relief because it was really getting out of hand. I'm like,
Yeah. Well, they're all agreeing about the mashed potatoes and the gravy at Popeyes. I'm glad you guys know what I'm talking about. But Recker says that now that he's had Popeyes, he knows why in America we always say we'll fight for some good biscuits and gravy because now he knows what we're talking about. Because he said those biscuits were like, now he gets it. If that's the kind of biscuits we put the white gravy on, then he understands. Yeah.
I'm like,
Mm.
biscuits and gravy is good, but that's like a once a year meal for me. Once every 2 or
Hmm.
3.
Yeah. Yeah, Mousy, they didn't have the red beans and rice there for him, and they don't have collards or anything either. Certain parts of the United States on the Popeyes menu, you can get the red beans and rice in the collards and stuff. I think you can get the coleslaw, which is pretty damn good. It's
I wonder
different.
if you can get it here. I don't know.
I don't know. You'll just maybe like I know you're all planned out for 30 days, but when you buck against the system, they hit on over to Popeyes.
But if I buck against the system, I'm not going to Popeyes. I will say
Oh,
that.
well, I'll tell you what, like Jin's right though. They actually have a fish sandwich that's really good too. The breading on the fish sandwich is really good.
Popeyes serves fish?
Yeah, they have a fried fish sandwich. Yep.
What?
Hmm.
As you can tell, I never go there.
Jin,
I
you're right. Biscuits and gravies for breakfast is like so good.
It
What,
is good.
you never go to Popeyes? Like, okay, if you want fast food, where do you go? And don't say salad bar because I'm gonna have to kick you.
No, I don't go to a
Okay.
no.
All right. I mean real
Um,
fast food. Like when you want to be bad. You just want to like, okay, it's not something you normally have, and it's a fast convenience food, like drive-through food, you know.
well, that is probably Steak and Shake.
Steak and Shake?
Yeah. Because, okay, I stopped eating fast food. And then once you stop eating it for so long, it's disgusting. Which I still contend that fast food is really only good if you're drunk or hungover.
I don't know of a chain made called Steak and Shake. We have In and Out.
Really?
Yup. And we have Five Guys, we have Popeyes, we have Wendy's, we have Sonic, we have McDonald's, we have Burger King.
Burger King's disgusting, and I will not go there.
Burger King though, they actually broil rather than uh griddle fry their burgers. So like they're
You know where
flaming.
else I will go? White Castle. I do love White
Oh,
Castle.
okay. Now that's fast food. That's real fast food,
Yeah,
especially with
that's
how it
fast
goes
food.
in and how it comes out. Like White Castle, definitely. Those little burgers with the onions on them, the little square
Yes.
burgers. Yes, they are definitely after bar food. Like when the bar closed. Yep.
I have a
Yep.
White Castle cookbook. I've never made anything out of it.
Wait, a White Castle cookbook?
Yes.
What?
Like we went through so long ago. Like I was in my 20s. My
Yeah.
roommate owned a bar, and she sometimes would be like, "Hey, do you guys want to go up to the bar? You can drink all night, and then like I'll give you a ride home." And we are like, obviously yes to that.
Uh-huh.
So
See,
then she took us through White Castle, and at the drive-through they go, "Do you want this White Castle cookbook?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." Which I don't.
oh,
If I was sober, I don't think I would have bought it. Maybe, but I was drunk, and I was like, "I'm into this." So
so okay, I know why we don't have Steak and Shake because it's only in the Midwest in the South in
oh,
America.
really?
Yup.
Why
Western
did I think they
United
were
States.
everywhere?
Well, we have Shake Shack,
We have
which
Shake Shack.
right, but we don't have Steak and Shake. Steak and Shake, there's no East Coast Steak and Shake. I don't know
We
why.
do not have In and Out.
You don't have In and Out. Okay.
No, we have
So,
Shake Shack and we have Five Guys, but I've never been to either one.
well, this company is out of Illinois and its headquarters in Indiana. So it's like Midwestern and South and mid Atlantic, but not East and in the West, but not here. Oh,
Steak
but
and
they're in
Shake's.
Europe. They're in
Oh, really?
Europe, people, and they're in the Middle East.
Steak and Shake.
What?
It's a pretty good fast food burger, and you can get a whole meal for $4.
That is amazing. You can get a meal for $4. You can't even in fast food get a meal for $4 unless you're just talking about a cup of coffee and hash browns.
And it's a decent meal. Like you can get a double steak burger, and
Wait,
they're like the
Georgia?
smashed patties. So
Wait, Georgia has Tim Hortons. You mean Canadian Tim Hortons? Okay,
yeah,
and
but
Mrs. Cassandra on the
so
West Coast, she's got Carl Jr.'s. And Wrecker was arguing with me that Carl Jr.'s was one of the best fast food places. And I was like, I don't even have Carl Jr.'s here
Carl
on the East
Jr.'s is
Coast.
Hardee's.
It's Hardee's? Hardee's
It's the
sucks,
same.
man. Okay,
We don't have Hardee's anymore here. In fact, they just ripped one down, like tore down the
man.
building.
Wait, Hardee's is the ones with the roast beef sandwiches, right?
No, that's Arby's.
Oh, that's Arby's. Okay. Well, I don't like either one of them. Oh, you know what else we have? We have Checkers. And
We have Checkers, but sometimes it's called Rallies. Samey same.
okay, Checkers is like the greasy cheeseburgers. They were pretty reasonable too, but they had the spicy curly fries, right? Like, yeah, like they make the potato
Um,
in a curl,
oh, they're
with
not
it.
curly here.
Mm.
They're just straight, but they are seasoned.
Oh, I can pin it. Hold on, it won't pin. Hold on, I got it. Oh, I'm talking to
A Canadian told me that Tim Hortons sucks now because Burger King bought it.
Oh, Burger King bought Tim Hortons
Yep,
in America or in Canada too?
in Canada too.
Uh-oh, the coffee's gonna stink. Everything's going downhill, people. Mm-mm.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that,
Wendy's
Canada.
bought it. Oh, okay, it was Wendy's. I'm
Oh,
sorry, I thought it was
Wendy's.
Burger King.
Okay, that's a little hopeful because Wendy's still does some fresh stuff. I actually don't have much to complain about Wendy's except they don't put enough salt on their French fries, but they are at least giving you the choice of how much salt you want on your French fries,
Do you
which
know
is
they
nice.
recently changed their French fries?
Did they?
Yeah, because
Oh,
somebody
Are they double cooked like Burger King, which is actually ruined the fries?
No. Burger King fries are disgusting, and their fries alone are a reason not to go there.
Hmm.
We don't really have Jack in the Box either anymore. They're like every once in a while you can find one around here because I do like the ultimate cheeseburger from Jack in the Box.
Yep. Jen says, "Bring back A&W." We used to have like
Oh
that, like
yeah.
Stewart's root beer in A&W, like the drive ups. Oh yeah, you could get your root beer in a frosted mug, and you could get. I used to be able to get a rare roast beef sandwich on white bread with mustard at Stewart's. Like you could order that. You can't order that in a fast food restaurant anywhere. Like as if my nan made it at the kitchen table.
Lion's
Just
Choice. I just learned that you can order how you want the roast beef done.
really.
Yeah,
Wow.
I did not know. Somebody told me that just a week or two ago because he was eating it. And he
Mm.
goes, I just learned you can order this like rare or well done. And I was like, what? How did I make it this long on earth? And I never knew that.
Mm. Couch says the coffee is bitter at McDonald's and Tim Hortons. They need Starbucks. And you know what?
I don't
I
mind McDonald's coffee in all honesty.
I'll tell you what. Starbucks is not what it used to be. So
No, that's for sure too.
yeah. So I kind of have to agree with you there. Although I wouldn't want to drink coffee from any of those because everybody knows I'm a coffee snob. Like forget it.
I am not a coffee snob.
I am a
And I
coffee
don't
snob.
mind
Although
McDonald's coffee.
if there
Okay,
was no coffee, I would drink it because like I need my coffee. Our Taco Bell is with KFC. Ours is too. Taco Bell and KFC are often, and Long John Silver's are often in the same building. They're all owned by the same company thing.
I would also like to put a caveat on my McDonald's coffee statement. I'm not talking about ordering like a mocha coffee from there. Don't
Uh-uh.
do that. It's
No,
disgusting.
black
It's
coffee.
too,
Yeah.
yeah, you got to get a black coffee. Then you're
Just a
fine.
black coffee.
But anytime you get those flavored coffees, like why do they have to put 580 ounces of mocha, whatever garbage syrup in there? I'm like,
Well, I've learned that customize it. Don't order it the way it's on the map. You go, I want a vanilla latte, one pump vanilla, people. Like lay off the damn vanilla syrup, okay? One pump vanilla, two extra shots, and then it's perfect.
McDonald's, it's a real lottery because sometimes I used to get an iced coffee from them and I'd be
Mhm.
like, I just want coffee and cream, no sugar. And they're like, what?
If you want simple iced coffee drinks, just go to Dunkin' Donuts. Like why do Starbucks? Serious people. Like,
Yeah,
serious.
I agree with
At
that.
least it's real coffee. Yeah, real cream.
And if you go to McDonald's, they give you like 3/4 cream, a shot of coffee. And I'm like, no, no,
I know
no.
it. Yeah,
Like, stop
because
it.
everything's way too sweet in America. Everything's way too like over the top. You know.
Yeah, and they're baffled when you don't want all that crap in there. I'm like, I just want coffee, like a shot of cream over
Mhm.
ice. That's it. And they're like, ma'am, we don't know. That's a crazy order. We're gonna have to ask you to step aside. Like,
Yeah. So in Georgia, they don't have Long John Silver anymore. They only have Captain D's. I used to love their fish and chips. To tell you the truth, I really do.
you know what? Last time I ate Captain D's, I was like, never again, because
I've
the
never been in
amount of
Captain
sodium
D's.
in that meal
What is
was
Captain D's now? Like I don't even know that one. See, there's such
it's
a
like Long
difference.
John Silver, same.
Oh, same. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was so greasy and it was so like you could feel your fingers and toes swell. Like it was gross.
Like, hello, blood pressure. Here we go. Like, yep.
Yes.
Mhm. Mm. You know, it's a shame we get to a certain age, we actually have to worry about all that kind of stuff because but I don't know.
Well, last
But
time I went to Red Lobster, same thing. I was like, I think we're all gonna die in this booth.
well, I'll tell you what, Taco Bell, really, Red Lobster, and that's a sit down restaurant, and that stuff is going to kill you.
It's
I'm
was
telling you,
because it was
that stuff
shrimp
is going to
fest.
kill
So
you.
we were like, yeah, shrimp
I
fest.
know, but the biscuits, the cheddar bay
Nope, I
biscuits,
couldn't eat them. They were so salty.
where I know that's the thing. They put
They
that
used
bay
to be
seasoning on them.
delicious.
They put that bay seasoning on them.
Oh, well, they're ruined them because I used to work at a gas station when I was younger,
Mhm.
and one of the customers worked at Red Lobster. So she would go work a shift, and then after when she got off work, she'd bring me a Caesar salad and a bag of those biscuits, and it was
Mm.
so good. And I was like,
Yep.
man, I can't wait to go to Red Lobster. This will be like a little blast from the past. And I was like, I
Mhm.
cannot eat this. It's so
No,
fat.
it's so disappointing, right? Like, I mean, it does tell you something about the state of fast food all over the world now when Taco Bell is the best deal out there anymore still. And that used to be the last place I would go. The last
Yes.
place I would ever go. And yet now for fast food and all, like it's probably the best deal out there. It at least has meat and cheese and veggies and it's a decent price. Like because I don't know about a little south, but here on the East Coast, you can't even go to McDonald's and get a meal. Like it's $20 or more for a meal. Like it's ridiculous.
No, it's so freaking expensive. And I'm like, this is
Exactly.
garbage food.
Right,
Like,
exactly. And and I never feel good when I'm done. Although I have to say, I felt damn good when I had that Popeyes. Like I did, I did. But but then that wasn't a greasy burger and it wasn't a bunch of fries. It was real mashed potatoes, gravy, chicken. Yes,
yeah.
yeah. So like as far as the quality, and it definitely was more than $20. Like definitely. And I was just like, wow, crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Mippet, yes, the knife did show up and they had taken more than one knife.
Yeah,
And
there was a sharper knife, but where the other knife was, that was kind of scary, huh?
that was a knife from the butcher block, which
Right.
obviously I'd left on the counter, but still.
But they were both behind that appliance. What appliance was that they were behind near the wall? Right there.
There's a toaster oven and a coffee maker like
That's what
back
I
in the
thought it was, the
corner.
coffee maker. Yeah. Yeah.
But I figured out why it scared me so bad when they took it because they had to drag it across the stove, and that's why it was so loud. Like, because I thought someone was in my house when I heard them, and then I'm like, "Who's in my house messing with silverware?" But they moved that knife a good 6 to 8 feet.
Wow.
Yeah, multiple knives, and they had some cocktail forks too. So
All right. Now this is getting a little weird. Yeah.
anyway, they're all dead. I poisoned them all.
Mhm.
And now every time I make popcorn, I leave a little like a piece on the floor. I'll leave a piece on the counter. It's like my and I mean I watch like the tray of poison to see if it's been touched.
Yeah, well, Janae, I agree with Janae. I would check that toaster oven real careful before you use it again.
Well,
They because it was all near a plug too. Like I'm looking at all these knives and stuff, and then I'm looking that you got stuff plugged. That's where the plug was, like
they
for
were
everything. I'm like,
planning
what?
something.
They're definitely like they're out. Like I think they're working with the raccoon,
Listen, I think they're mad because my cat passed away and because
and
they
they're
when I
bored.
had
They got
well,
nobody to
because they
play
don't
with.
have a bowl of cat food on the floor.
Oh,
And they're like, "Listen, we used to have a
that's
huge
right.
bowl of water and
And
cat food
you,
all day."
yeah, they're thinking it was for them instead of the cat. They're like, where'd it go? Like, how dare you?
Yeah,
Mm.
I think it's
Even though even
real.
though the cat would come in and threaten their lives if she ever saw them there
Oh, the
eating.
cat did take him out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
did
it
kill
was
him.
yeah, so now they're just like bored and they're underfed, like they're lazy. Yeah.
Right, and then they've been out in the backyard talking to the raccoons, and they're like, "What's with this lady? Like, she
Mm-hmm.
won't feed any of us anymore." And I'm like, "No, I will not." Also, well, once the mice came in, and my cat did kill the mice, but I moved his food bowl up onto a table, and even he was like, "Listen, I've eaten in this corner of the kitchen
Yeah.
for 12 years.
Yeah.
This is not acceptable."
How dare you? Right? Like how dare you make me get up on the table to eat? Like, no.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, also he was like, "What is this trap? Because you don't like me on tables, so something terrible is going to happen to me." I don't believe you, Mousy.
Mhm. I think it's the same company, Couch. He said, "Did Coke drop Nestea for you guys too? It's been replaced by something called Fooz here." I think they're all still together. I don't know if Nestea and Coke. It's all the same big company, isn't it?
Fuse
Still,
has been here for a long time.
yeah. Fuse is just
But
like another part of it. Yeah, like
mhm.
that's just the new name. I don't know. I'll have to check that out. I don't know if Nestea is still with them, but we have Fuse here too. Not just Canada. Like Coke, it's one of their new lines. Kind of like the old Fanta. You know.
Guys, the mice live underneath the kitchen cabinets. They come in through my back door,
Mm-hmm.
99% sure.
They come in like any small little crack. Like they can get really, really flat. Like when it gets to be wintertime, mice like find a way. They always
Well,
just
they
find a
can
way.
come in through a hole the size of a pencil eraser.
Yeah.
So,
No,
because I had like every um, pest company come out here and they're like, we can't figure out where they're getting in. And then I couldn't use poison because I had a cat and he also was a mouser. So he would, I had like snap traps and
hmm
glue traps and stuff, but they can get off the glue traps.
yeah. Like
And then
I
they,
don't. Yeah. You can't. Do you put like steel wool around your pipes under your sink so they don't come up from the basement or anything like that? Because they
no,
do.
well,
What
the
they do is they follow the pipes in the wires, like they do. In any hole coming in anywhere from room to room, they get through.
well, and they don't stay in the basement because my cat's litter boxes were down there and they don't like cat litter boxes. So they would come
Mm.
up. Well, and obviously the food's upstairs, but
Yeah, true. Like they're gonna like try to get in, but that's what they recommended for me to put steel wool around the opening. Because you have to have openings. The pipes come through from downstairs, up, and so in all the openings we put steel wool, and all they can't come through.
well, and then my cat would like play with them and chase them. And my cat figured out that the air returns for the furnace
Mm-hmm.
like went to the basement. So if a mouse would jump down there, he'd be like, I'm going to the basement. Like, I don't know how he cracked that code, but he was smart.
No,
But
definitely.
when he died, like, I mean, the next day I was like, I'm blasting these MFers with poison. And normally I keep the poison under my sink at all times, but I took it
hmm
out because I kept having that plumber. And
Right.
then it like snowed and the mice were like, we're going in.
Time to put it back under the sink for sure.
Yes. Oh, it's
Yeah.
under there.
Now, Mrs. Cassandra asked, when you found the knives, were there any, like, behind the appliances, were there any dead mice back there?
No. Once
So
I poisoned them,
there wasn't a mice gang thing or anything going on, like there wasn't like a big battle.
like it's like the gray against the brown mice. They're like
I
field
guess
mice.
there's something like that. Yeah, about or the left side of the house against the right side of the house. Who knows? Like, yeah.
No. But I think what happened, well, I don't know. They were planning something. And then I put out the poison. They took every bit of poison. And then I haven't had a mouse since. So
Mm.
they can dislocate their shoulders. They can
Yeah, they
also
can
get pregnant
separate.
when they're pregnant. So
Yeah, which is like, do they have two uteruses? Like, what is that?
I don't know, but
Yeah.
they're
Oh, Christopher. Sorry, don't mean to interrupt, but hello and happy New Year. Happy New Year, dude. Yeah. It's good to see you. Sorry about that, Juju. It's just got over it. I get excited.
well, Couch, I think the raccoons were involved with the mice, but I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they sent the mice in and they're like, listen, you got to get into the knife situation.
Yeah, that's the problem, Couch. We don't know if the he says is the raccoon mafia been ruled out as the perpetrators. Well, she still thinks it's the mice because there was so much stuff behind the counter there.
There was a lot. I was
And
like,
it,
they've been doing this for a while. This is disgusting.
ugh.
You never feel like your house is grosser than when you have a mouse. But then when the mice are actively stealing your silverware,
Mhm.
it's disgusting. Well, and that's part of the reason I was eating bad because I'm like, I have to bleach everything in this kitchen and like disinfect it.
Yeah. No one wants to think about like having, unwanted guests living in their house, like mice or bugs and stuff like that. No, I get it. I get it. But it's also just a fact of life, like especially depending on where you live. I know my house is a little rural, like there's woods and fields and everything around. There's just no doubt about it. They're going to try to come in. It's just a matter of whether I make them comfortable or not. They don't stay very long, I can tell you that. Between the dog and just me not being a very good hostess to uninvited creatures. So
Yeah.
it's
I mean, well, see, Mippet, I used snap traps with peanut butter, but then I also sometimes I'd put a little chocolate chip on there. I mixed up what I was like trapping them with so they didn't get bored. And they can lick that peanut butter off and like not set the trap off. But then you know what I started doing? Guys, get this. It's brilliant. Is I would glue pieces of cat food to the snap traps. So then when they tried to pull the food off, it was like stuck to the trap and it would set the trap off.
Well, that's genius because they were used to having cat food down, so that's something that they're looking for. They probably
Yep.
got really excited when they smelled it too.
Yeah, and then when they're like trying to tug on it, it would, because sometimes the snap traps don't get triggered. But if they're pulling on the food, it would trigger it. So there's a little helpful hint from me to you, but also just use poison unless you have a pet or kids. But poison takes them out the fastest and the most efficiently. You know what they use to catch raccoons?
What do they use to catch raccoons?
Oatmeal cream pies.
What?
Yep.
Are you kidding me?
No. I used to work in a warehouse. Huge warehouse. And in the summer, when it was real hot, we would make those big jugs of Gatorade for like the manufacturers, the people on the line. And the raccoons, I guess, moved in one day, but I didn't know it. Like none of us knew it. The people who were working over in the plant did. And they go, yeah, they drink this Gatorade. Like the raccoons would go up and push a little button and chug Gatorade. Anyway, we called critter control. And they came out and put the live traps, where they just go in and the door slams on them. And they said, we always use oatmeal cream pies. They cannot resist them.
Like, what is it about them? I don't even know. I don't even get it.
No. But it does make me chuckle because now every time I see an oatmeal cream pie, I'm like, raccoons love those.
Mousy sent me a picture of how they got everything unnoticed, but I don't agree with this at all. I don't agree with this picture at all. Just saying. I'm going to put it up, though. There you go. First of all, are those mice or hamsters? I don't even think they're mice.
Those are hamsters. They're not mice.
They're not mice. They're just they're wearing little hats. I get it. And they're eating, those wafer cookies that come in vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry. Like, okay. They are hamsters.
Who eats those? Mousy. Mousy eats the wafer cookies.
Well, there you go. So that's all right. Like, I don't think that's how they did it, Mouse, but thank you. But no, those are hamsters. Those are not mice. I don't agree. They're flower hats. I don't know. They're very silly. They look like little green whatevers.
And if a flower is walking around my house, I would notice that.
Yeah, I think a hamster in a flower hat would stick out, definitely. Hamsters are a little bit bigger than mice too.
Maybe they're mousters.
Maybe they're mousters. Ouch. Okay.
They did sell you out with the wafers.
Yeah. They sure did. We know it's you. Like, stop it. Just stop it.
Also, none of you are quiet with those wafers.
No, those are very crunchy, aren't they? Like, yeah.
And the wrapping they come in is like very crinkly and loud.
The loudest, right? And you can't reseal it. You got to rip those things open. Then you got to go get a baggie to put them in because, yeah, no, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the packaging at all.
Those wafers are always so weird because you're like, what are these? Because you can get 100 of them for like 50 cents. You're like, this can't be.
No, and when my mother found them in peanut butter, she went nuts. My mother was addicted to them in the peanut butter version.
I didn't even know they made peanut butter ones.
She found them and she just like was only one store that carried it, but they had them in peanut butter. It's the same kind of wafer, only the filling instead of like cream or chocolate or the strawberry is peanut butter.
Because
Not
I
really.
thought they were like Neapolitans, you know, like you always had the
They do
chocolate,
come like that,
vanilla,
but
and strawberry.
we can get them in plain in just the vanilla in the
Mhm.
Neapolitan. We can get them in vanilla and chocolate, but they don't sell them in just chocolate, okay, or just strawberry. But they do a half and half, a black and white, and then they have the peanut butter one. I mean, she went nuts for the peanut butter one, and it's not heavy peanut butter. You know how the cream in these wafer ones is like very subtle, like
Yes.
as far as the flavor, whether it be vanilla or chocolate. It's very sweet, but it's very subtle as far as what flavor it's supposed to be. Same thing with the peanut butter. It's just like it's like a cream filling with some peanut butter stirred into it. Yeah.
What? I had no idea. So now, next time I go to the
Hmm.
store, I am going to look for this. And I will
Hmm.
purchase them if they have the peanut butter ones.
And you'll hate the wrapping. You'll hate the packaging. Like you absolutely will, just the same. Yeah. The packaging is horrible.
I
It's just,
know.
yeah.
Mousy said that me bitching about the packaging is why she stopped eating them. Because we would be talking and I would just hear like, and I
They
was like,
don't
what are you doing?
eating wafer cookies on yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I had a bad habit of always eating in a call too because I hated eating dinner alone. So if we were like doing anything or whatever, then I would just like be sneaking my dinner in at the same time. It's so bad. I'm trying not to do it anymore. Well, it's like some people get really crazy about that. They can't handle the mouth noises.
Noises are my,
Mm.
I mean, mouth noises. I mean, snapping gum,
Oh, my
I will
mom.
lose my mind. Like, don't do it.
Mm.
Although, when I am alone, I chew my gum like a cow. I snap it, I pop it, I blow bubbles. But if any other human is around me, I will not do that.
It is so hard for me to chew gum and not make a lot of noise with it. It is. So I don't chew gum that often anymore.
Really? See, when I
Yeah,
was little growing up, my mom would be like, you got like a warning, like, don't snap your gum. And then she would turn around and hold her hand out and be like, you're done. Like, and you had
mhm.
to give up your gum.
Yep. Yeah. This my mom too. But then as my mom got older and she wanted to chew gum more when she was older, and then she would be the worst for cracking it. And
Really?
uh-huh. And they called her and the grandkids called her Gigi Bubbles, great grandma Bubbles, because she blew bubbles with it
Yeah,
all the
I'm a
time
bubble blower.
and let it pop. Everything she told us we couldn't do as a kid. Here was my older mom, like walking around with no freaking rules because you're not allowed to tell them, right? Like the older generation, you're like, you gotta be like, and then she is breaking all the rules. And then
Okay.
and the grandkids are looking at her like she's cool. And I'm like, Mom, you never let us do that. She goes, well, you were my children. These are the grandkids. I can do whatever I want. I'm like, oh, get
Okay, my situation like that is when I was growing up, my mom always made me make hospital corners on my bed.
Oh my. Okay. Yes.
And then I don't know, I had to be in my 30s. But she I don't know why we were talking about putting sheets on a bed, but we were. And she goes, "Oh, hospital corners, I don't do those anymore." And I was like, "What? Why am I still doing them?" And she goes, "Well, cuz it's the right way to make a bed." And I'm like, "But you don't do it and you made me do it for all those years." And she's like, "Yeah, that's too much work." Like it's a big deal when I'm like, "Hey, that's what we got in
Mhm.
trouble for all the time when we're little." And they're like, "Yeah."
Yep. But my mom's, I don't know. My mom was famous for that in general. My mom was the reason, like, I can't stand the because I said so rule. Like, never a reason for why we had to do anything. Just, yeah, she said so. You just better do it. And also the do as I say, not as I do. Like, no, it doesn't matter. Like, 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 wait a minute, like you're doing it. Why can't we doing it? That's different.
My mom was I am my mom, like
I love
in
her.
all the
Hey.
ways she was uptight, she taught me to be that way, where I'm like,
Mm.
"Everyone cut your fingernails, file them, put in earrings," whatever all the crap is.
Oh my gosh, no. Like I pushed against it. I went the other way. Yeah. Yeah, I
I
was like,
see, my mom was so good at, like alright, so she said she could never tell me what to do, like, she couldn't say, "Go clean your room." She goes, "I
right.
always had to make you think it was your idea."
Oh yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I get it. Yep.
So
Mm-hmm.
what happened was, like, she taught me certain things. Like, remember when you would get milk at school when you're little and you had, like, a milk card, little punch card,
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay.
and you
Mm-hmm.
could get white milk or chocolate milk or orange
Mm-hmm.
juice at my school.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom was like, "Get white milk," 'cause the rest had too much sugar. And I will tell you, for years, I got that white milk, and then one day I was like, "Wait
She's
a
not here.
second.
She doesn't know. I can
She'll
okay.
never know if I have chocolate milk right now." And, like, a whole world opened up to me where I was like, "She's been brainwashing me forever."
Wait, do you remember like the first time you ordered that chocolate milk and the tingles through your body like you thought you were doing something wrong and they
I
punched
can
that
still
card for the chocolate
picture
milk and
the
gave it to
table
you?
I sat at drinking it.
You're just like, I'm drinking the chocolate milk. I'm such a rebel.
I know. It was like, oh. And then I was like, "I'm getting orange juice tomorrow." Like,
Feel you. I feel you. It's those little things, right? That's when you know you're growing in the right direction. Like, because the thing about we don't want to be disrespectful for our parents, but part of the process is you have to push back. It's part of growing
right. Like,
into
you
adulthood.
boundaries and figuring
Right,
it
and
out.
bound right, and doing it on your own way. Like, you gotta start pushing back. And so, yeah. So there was your first pushback. It was delicious, wasn't it? You thought the
Well, and it
chocolate.
was, like, a little scary. Like, I'm like like, I reached into that cooler and I was like, I just think my mom's gonna walk around the corner and be like, "Hey, you're having chocolate milk." But
Yep.
man, it
Damn, that
was
is like,
good.
yeah. It's funny. It's like, there's so many stories about when we're growing up and what were the big milestones, but something simple like that is like
I know.
the start of adulthood, like right there. Like
Yes.
Juju chose the dark. She chose the chocolate milk. She just chose to fight for her right to over sugar, like whenever she
I
wants.
did. And those cartons were so tiny. I mean, it's a lot for a little kid, but still. I'm like, I don't know. She was very uptight about it, and on a regular basis would be like, "Remember, get the white milk." I'm like,
Yep, yep,
"Okay."
yep. Yeah. Hey, look at this. Hi, Ted. It's been a long time and it's so good to see you. I hope you're well and Happy New Year. Sorry about that. I get excited when I see people I haven't seen in a while come in. It's nice
Oh,
because
that's
I didn't
cool.
get, especially Christopher, because I didn't get to say Happy New Year to him. So I was glad that him and Ted, I haven't seen you in forever, but I'm hope you're doing okay. That's really cool. And hi, Shill. It's good. I hope you're doing okay too. Sorry, guys. But damn, this is like stuff. I've been thinking, I think that's also part of the New Year thing you were saying before. Like, like New Year's, like everything's just a little bit different. I think we do get a little melancholy. We start thinking about things, like another year has gone by, like another year. Like it's like a marker going from December to January. A whole nother year has passed, and I do tend to think a little bit more about the past and my childhood and stuff like that, and little memories, good memories too. Like there are things my mom did that annoyed me, but I'm still very pleased to think of them fondly of my mom because you just love, you know even if she was a pain in my butt, I loved her dearly.
Exactly.
I didn't agree
I
with
like
everything.
I kept a diary. Well, I got a diary when I was little. I still have it. It's like half full. Like, I'm not really a journaler, but I love looking back through it because the ones when I was like I don't know how old I was, but they're like, I hate my mom. And I'm like, clearly she was like making me be good. And I'm like,
Yeah.
she is the meanest person ever. That's like
Why
whole
not?
entries where
My mom used to tell me that if we thought she was our friend, then she wasn't doing her job. So it's like, I'm your mother, I'm your parent. Like you're not, there's going to be times you don't like me, and that's freaking fine. you
and
know,
sometimes I don't like you. That's what my mom would say.
Yeah, my mom would say, just because you're my children doesn't mean I have to like you. I have to love you and take care of you. But I'm telling you, there are times I don't like you at all. She would say, like when you do
I
that,
know.
like she
Then my mom used to say this to me. She'd go, I just liked you more and more as she got older, and you could have real conversations.
I know. I'd say that about my daughter all the time. And when she was a teenager, I would just wish that there was an island I could send her to, so she was 21. Because once she hit that mile marker, like her and I became really close, and everything got cool, and there was much better understanding of each other and everything. But man, it was tough when she was a teenager. Like sometimes it's that way.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
your parents are like your enemy when you're a teenager. And now, like, as an adult, I'm like, oh boy, they were right about so many things.
hmm But it's like a rite to passage. And then there's those that like during the teen years they get along fine with their parents like the whole time. And I don't know. I'm just like, I guess there's just like different ways of
I mean,
looking at it
mostly
or
I did,
approaching
but
it.
then,
I mean,
my
I
parents,
wasn't a bad kid. But I would say, well, you talk to me now, you can tell I'm a bit headstrong and stubborn and opinionated and questioning everything. So like, yeah, I was that kind of teenager. I pushed the envelope all the time. Like if you told me black, I said purple or green or striped or why not psychedelic. Like I just and I never let anything go. I was like, you know how those little kids are like, why?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I carried that through my whole teenage all the way through, all the way. Actually, I'm still like that. Why? Like I need to know.
You
I'm
know what?
old.
I am too. But my dad always bought me books because I would ask a lot of questions. I still
Mhm,
do. And then
mhm.
he'd be
It
like,
did-
here, I got these books for you. And I'm like,
mhm.
all right. Well, thank you.
That's why I know I'm so annoying. Like I admit it. Like I'm just that annoying. I am annoying a bit much when it comes to that kind of stuff. But eh, you know, I like to say I wouldn't change. So it's entertaining anyway.
I'm cool being a questioner. And I I just like that like I have to understand why I'm doing whatever I'm gonna do, you know? Like on a computer, you can't just be like, put that info here. I'm like, okay, why? Like, why right there? What's that changing? What's going on? And people are like, I don't know. We just put it right there. I'm like, I need more
Yeah.
info.
I thought the whole process of getting the new computer set up was like that for me. I needed to know everything I was going to do ahead of time before I even started to do
Well,
it.
and I have to know, like, when I put this data in right here, what changes elsewhere? Like, why am I putting it here? What is changing? Like, I have to understand what's happening.
That was it for me too. Like, and I have to tell you, Wrecker made it so easy. Like all the programs were loaded. He like knew everything I needed to. We talked about the process. He had everything on there ready to go. It was so simple when I finally did it, but I literally needed to map everything out in my head. I had lists, I had process, and then it just came down to one day just like plug it in and do it, and then it was all like right there. But I could not, like, it's the unknown. I don't like I am fascinated by the unknown, and I need the unknown in my life because I need something to strive for and to go for and to figure out. Like I need it, but it makes me very uncomfortable.
Yeah, same.
It does makes me
Where I'm
extremely
like, well, we've got to learn about this now. I'm like,
Mhm,
and not only we have to learn everything about it.
mhm. Yeah. No, I totally get that.
But that's also
This
why I like podcasts too, because you can be like, I'm gonna learn stuff while I'm doing whatever.
mhm. No, it is like it is really. Oh,
Do people
Mrs.
ever get
Cassandra.
mad at you for asking questions? I love you, but
Yes,
I'm not
it's
thinking.
annoying. Yes, we have code words now in certain relationships that I have. Like if I'm asking questions, like they just don't like want to get in. Like it's like oh, we have code words. Like yeah, and
Yeah,
yeah, it could be too much. You know. Like,
yeah. Somebody said to me a few weeks ago, they go, "You ask me these questions like I have the answers." And I was like, "Well, I feel like you should."
and you know what? I will ask a question of somebody, and they're like, "How the hell would I know that?" Like, there is no answer to that. I'm like, I know. I'm just talking to the air. I'm really just asking the universe. Like, don't worry about it. Don't pay any attention to
I'm
me.
really just asking the universe. That's awesome because that
Yes,
is
it's like
true. I'm like, wait a
I'm
sec.
just throwing it out there to see if the universe would throw it back at me. That's all. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
Do
we
you
just throw
ever have
it.
a question you walk around asking everyone? You're like, someone will get into a conversation with this about this with me, and no one will. And by the end of the day, you're just frustrated. You're like, 30 freaking people, and no one would take the bait on that.
Take the bait. I like it. She's out there fishing for a conversation, people. You know, like
Well,
no.
I'm like,
I
does anyone want to
listen.
discuss this? And everyone's like, no.
I
They
will
just
say
leave.
that over the last year or so, I've actually toned that part down. I think some of you in the chat and some of you that have known me longer than like a month or two would know I was very much like that a year or so ago. And I would ask everybody the same question and just gather all my information. Not so much anymore. Like, no. Mm. Um, mm. I lately my conversations have been limited. Like I've been, believe it or not having as many conversations as I normally do.
Me
I
too.
uh I think it's just like a regrouping of myself, like wondering like are these questions for everybody else or are they for me? Like do I have to find the answer somewhere like myself? Um yeah.
Well, and I've learned I'm looking in the wrong places. If I want someone to discuss a podcast with me, you have to like Google that podcast and go find people who want to talk about it.
Yes, it's true. Do do penguins have knees? No. They don't. I fish. No. Why do you think they waddle? Because they can't bend their knees, dude. They don't have knees. They have wee knees, but they don't bend. They don't work like a knee. I don't think it's a knee.
They're weenies.
If they don't if they don't
Great.
bend, it's not a knee. Like what would we call it? A bump in the leg. It's not a knee. I don't know. I don't know. I have a lot of questions. I like to learn stuff. I like to have different conversations with people about uh just all kinds of areas, like me, I'm just here for the conversations. That's why I'm on YouTube. Because I want to talk about just about everything and anything. That's why I really loved it. Like you said that somebody recommended that movie to you, The Peanut Butter Falcon. And
Yeah.
and I actually didn't want to just talk about whether it was a good movie or a bad movie. I wanted to talk about all the issues that the movie brought up. And I was so happy that we got to do that. Like we did. Like that movie actually had some really good messages in it. Some good, some bad, some of it like pandering a little bit. But it still brought up good topics. And I hope to keep doing that with that series. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that is fun. It's a fun concept. Especially because as people like find stuff and they'll go, ooh, this would be a good one for that, you know?
Hmm. No, it really was. In what was really thrilled me about it is that some of the issues that I had written down that came up during the movie for me were the same for everyone. Like were one or two of the same for a lot of people in the chat and those on the panel. Like it kind of like opened up them to want to talk about those issues also. It was kind of good. Yeah, I have the answer to these. What was the best thing since sliced bread? Butter. That's why bread was invented. Okay, there you go. There we go.
Do you like the heel of a loaf of bread?
If there's butter, I do.
Some people don't eat that part of the bread, the loaf.
Are you kidding? What you do is you put butter on the squishy part in the middle, then you pull it out, and then you stuff into the heel of the bread and eat it. It's great. It's great for making like a hand sandwich. It's good. Yeah, eat the heel of
I'm
the
like,
bread.
I think the heel of the bread is the best part of the bread.
Depending on what that filling is, I agree.
That's what we always fought over when my mom made homemade bread. We're like,
Mm.
we want the heel. Yeah, see? Janae gets it. It's the best part
Crunchy.
when toasted.
That's what I like about it for a sandwich too, because no matter like, especially if you're putting something wet, like with more like sauce and all on it in the middle, um, it can stand up to it. Homemade bread, yes. Store bought, no. Jinsu says, yep. I
Did you
agree.
ever flip it inside out and like if you're making a peanut butter and jelly, you put it on the outside part of that bread and then you're like, they won't notice. Like for a kid or whatever, you're like, no, it's a regular slice of bread.
Wait a
Spoiler
minute.
alert, they always notice.
I'm
Like,
I'm confused by this statement. What do you mean put it on the outside of it instead of
well, like the heel of the bread, like the part that is the outside of the loaf. So when you have that slice, you have like the crust.
uh-huh.
But you know how like some kids or whatever, like we don't eat the crust.
Oh,
And
oh, that's
you'll
right.
eat the
You mean the
effing
last piece
crust.
of bread in the store bought. Okay, yes. And then you put it down so they can't tell that it was the
Yeah, you're
okay.
like you put the
Okay.
peanut butter or something,
For some
whatever on
reason,
that,
I thought
push
you
it
were
together, and
talking
you're like,
about
you're
putting
fine.
the peanut butter and jelly on the outside of the sandwich and thinking nobody would notice. And I'm like, how do you not notice when you go to pick it up and you stick your fingers in the
You're
jelly?
like, here's a
Like,
messy meal. Have at it.
no, I'm just like, no, now that makes sense. You mean hide the crust. Yes, hide the
Yeah.
crust. Yes, hide the outer crust. Yeah, of course. Like, because you have to use that last piece of bread. And actually, everybody would leave that when you're making French toast or something. Nobody would eat that piece. It would be like,
Yes, it makes me crazy. And I actually save them if it's from store-bought bread. I save them and freeze them, and that's what I use to tear up to put on top of macaroni and cheese.
it is good because it has more crumb. It's more
Yep.
crust. Yes, you need more crust. And it's a good thing to do. You freeze those slices to do that. Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
I agree, Janae. The crust is the best part. Like, same with pizza crust. I love the pizza crust.
I do like chewing on pizza crust.
Yeah, and I'll eat all the pizza that I'm gonna have, and then I save all my crust and eat all the crust last.
Hey, Liam. Welcome.
Hi,
Welcome.
Liam.
Welcome to the food part of our conversation.
I've been food the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
crust is the best part.
In our house, like there were people that ate the crust, the people that didn't eat the crust. And actually the crust would still be, they would put their crusts back in the box and they would be up for grabs for whoever wanted them.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a good situation if
Hey,
everyone's on board with it.
and I used to judge my brother's friends by it, actually, and my friends too. If they refused to put their crust back in the box for others to have if they didn't want it and threw it out, well, I put a mark on them.
Do you know? I think I've told you guys this before, but one of the biggest fights I had in a relationship was about a loaf of bread
Are you
because
kidding? Oh my God, go ahead.
I was dating someone who would only eat white bread, like the nasty ass white bread. And he's like, "You are always buying this wheat or like oat grain or whatever."
Mhm.
And he's like, "I hate that." I'm like, "What are you talking about? You are a grown human. Get off the bunny bread or whatever it is."
I have something like that going on now. Like I have this thing about like if you're going out to dinner with someone, it could be a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a family member, anybody, okay? And it comes to dessert time and you don't want dessert, but they order dessert and it looks really good and you want just one bite and they're like, "Nope, I'll get you your own piece." And I'm like, "I just want to taste it." They're like, "Nope." I'm like, "All right,
If
now
they're
this is
getting
a
you your
problem."
own piece, I'll
No,
allow it.
because I don't want my own piece. I don't want a whole piece. It's so wasteful. I
Yeah,
don't want
but
to
then
take
they're
it home.
giving you just a bite from the second piece, and they get to take the second piece home and
That's
enjoy
the
it.
whole thing. They said, "Yeah, well, I'll just eat the rest." Then it's like, "But I'm not giving you a piece of this." Like, I just wanted one forkful, but they were like, "No, because you're gonna eat the whole thing." I'm like, "No, I seriously only want one little forkful." I know Liam's like to say, "Get off my dessert." I like every man. I'm telling you, just like in a way, I absolutely respect it. I do. I understand where it's coming from, and I appreciate
But
it
it
and I
also
respect it.
stings a little bit. They won't give
It
you just that little
stings.
bite.
Just that little bite because they don't believe that that's all I want. It's like they don't trust me, and then it's that they're judging me, and I'm not worthy of a bite of chocolate cake. I'm like, I am down worthy. I am so fucking damn worthy of that piece, that little bite of cake. Like, you should willingly give me that cake. But nope, nope. It's like a thing. It's
Well, they've
definitely
been
a
burned
thing.
before. They've been
Yes,
burned
that's what I
before.
said. I am being judged by the other cake eaters in their lives. Yes.
Yeah.
I am. Yes. And it's like, well, it's not selfish. I'll buy you your own cake. I'll buy you a whole goddamn cake. Just I'm not giving you a piece of this. I said, that's the issue. You won't share. That's it. Like, why? Why? I gotta know. That's I gotta know why.
But what if they could order you just a bite of cake?
They can't order you a bite of cake. That's in a fantasy world. Like, if that would solve it, but
Well, I also think you're living in a fantasy world.
hmm.
I mean, I get it because it is annoying when people are like,
Janae,
"No, thank you, I don't want dessert."
this is so true. Like, especially if I'm out with my girlfriends and all, like, it's very common that we'll all share one piece of cake or whatever. And there's always somebody that wants to eat the whole piece of cake, and that's just fine. But I really only want to taste it. Like, I don't want, like, I really did only want to taste it. And I didn't before they ordered it until it came and I saw it. I was like, that looks really good. Does it taste as good as it looks? I would just like to taste that cake. Hmm.
I feel like you have to be offered that.
Yeah. And then I want to know why you don't get offered. Like, it's still the same situation for me.
But does that person, if they order something and you go, "Oh, how is your steak?" or whatever, do
Yeah,
they
but
go,
here's
"It's delicious. Would you like a bite?"
when they say, would yes, I see what you mean. Like, you wait until they offer. Well,
Mhm.
still, I want to know why I'm not cake worthy. Like, it's a thing.
Although I used to go out to dinner with a friend of mine, and we would always make sure we ordered 2 different things, and halfway through, we would switch plates and, like, so we could try both meals.
Those are
And
some of the best dates I've ever had, especially when there's like two things on the menu and we're both talking about it, like which one should we get, which one should we get, and we're kind of leaning towards the same two dishes. And then they'll go, "Oh, I'll order this one and you order that one, and then do you wanna
yeah,
split?
then we
Should we
can,
get"
like
and then because it's a date, like, you leave it up. Do you wanna, like, order extra plates to put it on? Because a restaurant will do that. I've done that. I've ordered it a meal, and they ordered a meal, and we said, "Could you put it on 2 plates, please?" And they did, and then we each had half.
yeah, it's fun.
Some
And
restaurants will charge you for the extra plate, though,
well, the
but
person I went with, we would just switch plates, and then sometimes we were like, "I like my original better." Like, switch back. But
mhm,
we always we did it every time. We always made sure we ordered something different.
yeah. What some of the best meals that I've had are like in restaurants where we're just ordering big plate. Like, some restaurants here do home style, where you
Mhm.
just order. We have an Italian restaurant that does home style, where you just order like the platter. It's the platter of mussels. It's the platter of chicken parm. It's the platter of this, and then you pass it around, and everybody gets what they want. The only thing you have separate is not even your salad. Like, your salad's in the big bowl. I think, only like an appetizer would be like a single thing. And those we shared too, you know.
Yeah, because an appetizer's too much with a meal.
I've had appetizer only meals. I like that. We have a restaurant in Asbury called Tacos that is just small plates. It's just like you order 10 appetizers and you share them amongst the table. It's like so good.
I used to have a neighbor that she was a single woman too, and she'd be like, "What are you doing tonight? Should we have like appetizers for dinner?" I'm like, "Yeah, we should." And we would just make a whole plate of appetizers and sit on one of our patios, have a
Okay.
glass of wine and drink appetizers. Nope, drink a glass
Okay.
of wine and eat appetizers.
That brings up a very good question I wanted to ask you. It's on my list.
Yes.
Pretzel dogs, yay or nay?
I mean,
And I'm talking the kind of pretzel dough that's like a puff pastry pretzel dough, pretzel dog dough. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like you have to put them in the toaster oven. Hmm.
you put them in the toaster oven.
I
Is it like
do.
a corn dog but with a pretzel around it?
It's like okay, you know the crescent roll that you can get the bit in the can that you bake in the oven? The
Yeah.
one the ones that I got is a whole hot dog, okay, all right, and it's got dough like that all the way around it, and you put them in the oven or the toaster oven and bake them, and it's like you hold it, it's like the bun is all around the dog, and
Oh
just little
yeah.
ends of it are
Like a
sticking
pig
out
in a blanket.
like a pig in a blanket. Yes, but it's full size, not those little itty bitty things that you get for appetizers.
Well, when I make them, I cut the hot dog in half, and then I like
Mm-hmm.
put half the hot dog in there. But I
Mm-hmm.
also will secure that crescent roll, and I put a little cheese in with it, and I like seal the crescent roll shut, so it's
Mm-hmm.
cheese and a hot dog inside it. Anyway, my answer is yes. I like them.
Yes, yes, I do. Because the other day, like, because it's New Year's, and I always think about pretzel dogs. And so the other day, yeah, I I actually had pretzel dogs. I dipped them in mustard and eat it. It was so good. Yep. Bagel dogs, yes, yes, they have dough, and they call them pretzel dogs, even though they're not made with pretzel dough. Like it's weird. Like it doesn't have all the salt and everything on it like a big pretzel, and I don't
Yeah,
know.
because I was picturing a pretzel with a
They
hot dog
call it,
inside it.
yeah.
Like,
Korean corn dogs are so good. Oh my god, I like corn dogs actually.
I do not.
I do. I do like the crunchy, like if it's done right, the crunchy cornmeal coating. Like I like it.
No, I'm not big on
Me too,
cornbread.
Janae. Nothing like hot dough, right? A big, soft, large, soft pretzel like that. Nothing like hot dough and so. Oh my god, like
That's one of
yes,
my weaknesses.
hot. The
Pretzels.
smell of yeah, hot pretzels, not regular pretzels though, like hot ones. Hot, soft, chewy pretzels. Mm-mm-mm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Now I'm hungry, Juju.
I
Like
ate right before, and I ate a lot before
I
that.
always I'm going to have dinner after, and I know what I'm going to have too. I'm having rigatoni with meat sauce and garlic bread with cheese.
Nice.
Mm.
I had meatloaf and macaroni and cheese and green beans.
And I'm having a side of olives with it because I couldn't like I didn't and it's meat sauce, and it's not like one of my favorite ground beef dishes is a Spanish dish that is made with a lot of olives and garlic and ground beef, and you scoop it up with chips and all. I used to have it after school all the time. Um, it's really, 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 really good. And I can't think of the name of it, but
I'm not a
I
big
kind of,
olive person. Like I'll
I,
eat it if it's on stuff, but I don't.
I like
I don't
all
like
kind of
olives.
olives. Fresh olives are now my new thing, but I do like for these recipes really briny ones. Well, yeah, just had to, but since I didn't make the Mexican one, just regular meat sauce that with mushrooms and stuff.
I like when I'm looking forward to a meal. When I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm gonna have whatever.
Mhm. Well, I decided to eat a comfort meal on Sundays. Like so I used to always have a comfort meal on Sundays, something I wouldn't have during the week because I don't eat a lot of pasta anymore or stuff like that. But I like it because it's comforting. I mean, I shouldn't say I don't eat it because I do eat mac and cheese with my eggs, so I do actually have pasta here and there. But it's very comforting. It's a comfort type food, to
Well,
me, and
then
it's very filling. And I
like
and I
mac
can't have
and
anything to
cheese,
do.
I when I make it, I make like a 9 by 13 dish of it. So I don't make
Mhm.
it that often for just me. Like I only make it when people are coming over or when it's like requested. But this time I did it for just me and I'm going through that whole pan and
Yeah.
I like it.
No, I do. I freeze it. I'll make it up because you have to make it in like whatever the recipe size is. At least I do. And then I freeze it in, well, and store it. Grilled cheese is awesome. Totally great
I
comfort food.
love a grilled cheese.
I like grilled toast. I like making toasted cheese, which is just like put the cheese on the bread and put it in the toaster oven, open faced. I
Yeah.
like that. I like grilled cheese. I like fancy grilled cheese, regular grilled cheese, like you name it. Like, give me some cheese. Mm.
I'm always happy when I make a grilled cheese and have like a bowl of. I was just thinking about that yesterday that I want to make roasted red pepper soup with grilled cheese.
Mhm.
I know. See, Liam, that's how I am. I'm like, oh, I just make. Well, when I make
Res-
mac and cheese, I just know how to make it. I'm like, this.
Mhm.
You just make it till it looks right.
Mm. This is true. Mm. I'm just glad I don't have anything else to do for the rest of the evening because once I eat that pasta, I'm going to be like, whoop. Although hopefully I won't be falling asleep. One thing about when you're not feeling well, like I had a head cold, I couldn't sleep regularly because I would wake up coughing or sneezing or like congested, like I couldn't breathe. So I was only sleeping like an hour here and there. So I was falling asleep no matter what I did. No matter what I did. Like I would be sitting here
Oh,
and
I've been
fall
going through that
asleep.
because I didn't
It
have a cold, but I had like a stuffy nose. And you
mm,
know when you sleep, like if you sleep on your left side, how it all like drains to the
yup.
left side, and then you're like, I have to
I
flip over
couldn't
to the other side and like relieve that pressure.
I didn't realize how bad it was. I couldn't hear out of my right ear because there was so much congestion built up, like fluid, like. And then I was like waking myself up, making a horrible snortling noise. Like, oh,
Yes,
it was horrible.
I know
And
that.
and I was like so uncomfortable, and the headache was terrible. And that went on for like 3 days. I didn't sleep well. Like usually, I mean, I'm not a great sleeper anyway, but I need at least 4 hours consecutively to feel rested. And I
Hmm.
was not getting 4 hours at a shot. I was getting an hour here, 2 hours here, falling asleep literally all throughout the day, no matter what I did.
Hey,
Like,
listen, what's happening with me? So I'll go to bed. I'm gonna make up times, but they're pretty
mhm,
accurate. So if I go to bed at like 9 p.m., I started waking up at like 10:15, 10:30. And I would be
mhm.
like, "Man, that was a great night's sleep." And then I would look at the clock and be like, 10:15. What the hell? Like I only slept for an hour. Why am I awake and I feel like but I would feel so refreshed. Like it felt like I just got 8 hours of sleep.
And that's dangerous. Like that happens to me. That's why I'm a chronic insomniac. Because I'll do the nap like that and I'll feel good so I won't go back to bed. Somebody told me when you go to bed early and you wake up like that, you're
Mhm.
waking up at your natural bedtime. Pay attention to that no matter what time you're trying to put your bed because then maybe if you stayed up until 10:15 and went to bed it wouldn't happen.
Oh, I wonder if you're right.
Because we are run by our body's clocks whether we want to, like, we all think our brain is running things around here, but your body your body and I'm at the age where I can tell you this is a fact. Your body knows better. Your body is going to tell you.
Yeah,
Your
that's
body
true.
is going to.
Well, because I would wake up and be like, "Oh, I have to go to the bathroom." But because you always go to like, what's the last thing you do before you go to bed? You go to the bathroom, you brush your teeth,
Mhm.
like. So I would wake up and be like, "Why the hell am I up at 10:15? Like I just went to bed."
I'm just saying, just try it. Somebody told me that. I don't fight it anymore about when I go to bed. My schedule's all upside down, but I know like when I need to, and I just know I need the couple hours. I mean, I slept yesterday like five hours in a row, and I felt like a whole new world. Like I'm finally sleeping 4 hours, and I didn't fall asleep. I could watch a video without falling asleep. I could have a conversation without yawning. It was good. It
See,
was-
that's like sounds like torture. I need like 9 hours of sleep.
Mm,
I can like get by on 7, but I'm like an 8 or 9 hour gal.
mhm.
But then when I get
This is true.
exhausted through the day, I'll be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go to bed at 9."
Couch says your brain only has so much control over your bladder. This is true. Hey dog, how you doing? Good to see you. Happy New Year. Same as me, chronic insomniac and night owl. Can do night shift, no issues, but struggle throughout the day. You know, that's me. Like that's me. Even if I do sleep at night, like, and when I say at night, I'm talking about like I go to bed at like 4 a.m., 5 a.m., like that kind of night, which is really morning for most of you. And as long as I get 5 or 6 hours, I'm good. But every day around 3 o'clock, like I'm up and I'm doing stuff, but I always feel like I could do with a little nap, like an hour. And if I take that hour nap, I'm golden. Like I'm golden.
Really, I don't feel good if I take a nap. Like I wake
Mm.
up with a nap hangover.
I have too much time on my hands. Like I have to, like, it's good for me. Like I'm blessed and cursed with no definite schedule. Do you know what I mean? Like
I do
it's a
know what you mean.
it's a blessing and a curse at the same time.
I mean, I love having the like bedtime wake up time. I love that. And like I don't have to set an alarm or anything. I just wake up.
Mm.
I gotta stop
I
saying that though. I feel like one day I'm just not gonna wake up and then I'll be like, what happened?
I hate you, Claire Bear. I'm here as a troll. I love you too, dog. I do. You're one of the nicest trolls I ever met, Dane.
It's so formal. I hate you. I'm here as a troll.
He's just so honest. Yeah. I love you all except for me. Like he's telling everybody else they love them. Okay. Now I feel bad. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you though. I actually love lately that I have more of a routine. I feel more settled and stable in what to expect, and I
More
can kind of
grounded. Less
organize. And
lost.
I feel less lost. I feel less like untethered. I like it. You know. I don't like being told what to do, but I do like having parameters. Does that make
Yes,
any sense?
same. I'm like,
Yeah.
don't tell me what to do. But also
Yeah.
I will arrive here every day at
I
this
love
time
I
or
love
whatever.
I love the comfort of it. I mean, I do like that, like the ability to change it a little bit here and there. Like that's always very exciting. I have to have that freedom, but I do love the stability of like schedule, and knowing what to expect. I love it because it does, it's comforting. It's I don't know, it feels good. It just.
It does feel good. Well, I also think because making decisions is exhausting. So if you're always trying to figure out what you're gonna do, it's exhausting. So like
Mm,
when you're like, oh, but I know I eat dinner at this time every day, or I go to bed at this time. Like that's a little break for your brain.
mm, true, but then too much schedule interferes with my creativity.
Too much and I will absolutely buck against it and then not do any of it.
Exactly. Like I get to the point where I'm just not doing
Like I
anything.
can't, you know, the people who have something to do always all of the time. I'm not one of those people. If I
I
have
was
too
that
much to do,
person. Yeah, I
ugh,
was
I
that
can't
person.
with it.
I was so type A that I never sat down. I never slept. Like I hardly ever slept. I never stopped. I was like, go, go. I was so annoying. Like I annoyed myself when I'm like that. But I have to say that I actually feel better not being like that anymore. And I have to say that it wasn't really good for me. It ruined a lot of things in my life being like that. It really did, including your health and your well-being and you know, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I had like yesterday I cleaned my house, but I did it in that way where you're like, watch YouTube for 20 minutes, then go do whatever. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Like I
Like,
want a clean house, but I don't want to be judged like that I have to have that done by a certain time or this, that, or the other thing. Like, you know.
but it ended up being like actually a really relaxing day because there was no pressure, you know, where you're like, yeah, the kitchen will get cleaned. And like, I would go in there and clean it. And then, like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, go goof off for a while and then
Exactly.
be like, "Oh, the
Yes.
dishwasher's done. I'll go empty it." Or like, I don't know.
Well, Jasper, I hear you. I'll be grabbing that coffee myself. Dog, you're making me blush. Like that's a very nice thing to say. Thank you. Mm. Yeah. So I guess you like me a little bit. Just a little bit.
I don't know.
Liam,
He's
what
here
is
to
this?
troll.
I know. I need to see this, Liam. I made my first animated 2D. I need to see it. I need to know what you I can't wait. Hi, Victoria. She's cleaning right now.
I love that, Victor. Thanks for taking a break with us.
Yep. I do love that. And that's actually a compliment when people tell me while I was doing all this other stuff, I was listening to you. And I'm like, that is very flattering. Thank you. Like, I'm glad that you didn't have to stop dead to listen to me. You
Yeah, I
know?
listened to a few swoop videos today because they're nice and long. So you can just like turn them on. You don't have to watch them.
I had Swoop on too. And you know who else I was listening to today? Paige Christie went in on Ethan Klein, and I was listening to that earlier today for a little bit. Like,
Really?
yeah, she did. She doesn't like him very much. She never has. Like, she thinks he's very contrary, and like she really has some stuff to say. But I love Swoop. Swoop is like, mm. But then again, I did get caught up with Dark Brando also. I don't know if you guys know about Dark Brando, but yeah, he did a little cartoon about the sentencing, and I had to listen to that too. But most of my time was spent with Trap Lurai Ross, from the guy that does all of the drill rap gangster documentaries.
Oh,
His name
yeah.
English. I can never say his name right, and hopefully if Record is in the chat, he'll say it right. I think it's Trap Lore Ross, and I always call him Trap LaRue, and I don't know why. It just sounds like different. I don't know. Instead
Yeah,
of
I think
saying
it is
Ross,
trap lore.
it's Trap Lore Ross, right? And his last
I
name,
think so,
his
yeah.
name is Ross, right? And I always mess it up, but hopefully everybody knows what I'm talking about. But like, yeah. I was interested because we finished the one about there's Swedish gangs, and we were listening because it's not just in America like this going on. It's in all countries everywhere, and he's been covering it. And then the one in America, he was showing like some of the younger kids that are involved in this that are like 8 and 9 years old, and it's like so young. You hear these little tiny voices saying this horrible stuff. It was like, whoa, about gang life and stuff. And I'm like, you're 8 years old. Like this
I
was
know. I just watched one about St.
yeah,
Louis gangs the other day.
yeah.
Hey,
It's like
Couch Swoop has a second channel where she doesn't go as in depth, which is good as well. It's called Swoop 2, TOO.
oh yeah. That's the lighter side of Swoop.
Yeah, that's the more when she's like razzing on YouTubers.
Yeah. Hey Sleet. Good to see you. There are 2 so far. I'm putting them into my first music video for a song. Good. So I'm going to be able to see it soon. That's good to hear, Liam. We're going to be able to see it. Awesome. Mm. Well, this is good. We're winding down now.
We are winding down. I'm like, I just had that. Oh, I'm getting tired. Because I didn't like. Well, I did sit down today, so don't ignore me. But I was doing stuff all day.
Dog, I'll have to come to more of Slim's shows. I didn't know you were co-hosting now. I'm going to be there.
He's his co-host.
He's his co-host. Yes. You like my yeah. Well, that's flattering. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm
I
done.
know. I am too. I was just
I'm like, I got nothing else.
and now that you yawned, that's it. Like, because yawning is contagious. I'm not going to be able to stop yawning now. I don't even have to see it. I just have to hear it.
I know. I just yawned again.
All right, so we're ending it. We're doing before. Let's do something different. Let's just get out of here. What do you say?
Ooh.
Woo!
Hey,
Bye,
how's that for a 20-minute goodbye, everybody? What if that was our New Year's resolution, but we just didn't tell them? Like,
as if we would be that organized on a show called Nothing, but
that's true.
yeah, this is true. It would be just like us to do that. Oh gosh, we gotta push the button. They're already saying goodbye. All right.
Meet
All
me.
right. Meep meep. See y'all later. Bye.